usual, and then Monday as well. If you didn't know, LTA North going to be live on Monday to round out the first round robin here of Best of Ones, but we are getting on in for DSG versus Shopify Rebellion and Azael here with Kobe to close us out.
All right, let's get into the creator clash on the LTA stage. And okay, so Varus banned out on blue side here, so that allows them to get the Xin first pick, and it's instant answers.
Fall twig.
Some good signs coming through in the audience, but immediately answered by some priority solo lanes here. So, oh wow, we're just flying through this one actually.
Galio
we get the
again.
Second game here of another Galio counter pick.
And it did not work out so well for Licorice.
Right, but I still love the combo of not only counter picking Rumble, but also playing it with a Xin Zhao, because Xin Zhao can buy so much time with his ultimate. Galio ultimate coming over the top is huge, and fastest draft here. So
got some
they're making up our
fans
time
in the stands there cheering them on. And we do have the spicy hot pot combo right there, as we got the Rumble as well as the J4 coming in for Contractz and Fudge. So that should be pretty interesting. And yeah, going to be excited to see how the top lane matchup goes. We've also seen Ryze a fair bit in the LTA North, but has struggled against some of these kind of longer range compositions. It was played a number of times into not only Azir, but Azir Varus as a combination. Of course, Varus banned out this time. And it was losing kind of all those games because they were struggling to get enough of an advantage through side, and they just ended up team fighting, and then you're kind of outranged, and it can be tough. And so we'll see how Abbedage can actually play out this game.
Yeah, I think it also can be hard sometimes into Jarvan, because Jarvan frequency of ganks can be very, very high. And using the ultimate, you can traverse a lot of distance.
He's getting the second kitten. You didn't even have a first kitten.
I know, Jesus.
Share the cats. Come on now. Don't be
like
greedy.
5 years behind or something. But yeah, Jarvan can also be decent versus Xin sometimes, because you can like ult him and then EQ out and try and dodge
lock him in there.
His W's, and leave people behind in the arena. But let's get down to the bottom lane, because bottom lane was the one
a lot of AD
left
bans
up here. And yeah, because they've got the Galio already, you're like, all right, we don't want to Kai'Sa on that, or to look at any sort of heavy dive or anything like that. Meanwhile,
I feel like you could just go, like, if you're worried about dive, you just go Ezreal or Xayah, right? So it is interesting. DSG focusing their bans on the support here, targeting Seos, taking away both the Nautilus as well as that Nico. Seos has been kind of just spamming Leona, and that is up and available. But of course, there's the opportunity for Huhi to take it here if he wants. MF being considered here for ScaryJerry, has played it once already and is going to be locked in. Not the biggest MF fan, but I do think Galio has quite good setup, and now you have Galio plus Rakan. You have point and click CC with the Ryze as well. So you have a lot of ways to potentially dive in there with the Rakan. The Galio comes over the top, taunts them all up, and the bullet time's ripping out. And that seems like that is a pretty strong combo. Braum seems like a potential obvious pick here if you want to try to shut down that sort of play. So we'll see where Seos wants to go. If he is just going to go towards the kind of tried and true, the 3 games of Leona, go back towards that. It is instead going to be the Alistar here to potentially just be able to play that bodyguard style, knock out the Galio, knock out that Rakan when they are trying to go in.
Yeah, and the ultimate is just so good for playing kind of in the mid-range here, where there is a lot of danger, but they still want stuff to be able to interrupt and put pressure on the Misfortune. So kind of nice on their side. I mean, the DSG comp actually is very similar to what we saw earlier today with the Galio, the Xin, and the Rakan coming in as the final piece there.
Which do you like more?
To have that early access. For me, I feel like I like Shopify's more because their carries are so mobile.
Yeah.
And when you have super mobile carries, we saw in the last one, that if you dodge Rakan well one time, Rakan is really the only guaranteed one, because you need the Rakan to land the charm and the knock-up to allow for the Galio time to get in there. But Azir and Ezreal can be very slippery.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is that there is a lot of side lane possibility there with the Ryze as well.
DSG versus Shopify Rebellion here. And Shopify Rebellion looking to get another win on the board. DSG looking to get there first. They are down at the bottom of the table with Dignitas, who was looking like they were in a good position to actually get a win last game, but 100 Thieves were able to come back.
They were in a good position.
Yeah. And, not even just looking like it.
No, they were
They were looking like it, and they were.
Yeah, and then they were not.
And then they weren't. And they also weren't looking like it. We have Castle here playing the Aftershock. Interesting because I got to interview Bwipo about this matchup earlier, obviously after they played, because he was the first person that I can remember back, I think when it was LCS, bringing out this as kind of a counter pick in the league. And he was saying that he thinks it's strong because you get prio on push, and then you only kind of play aggressive when you have phase rush. And he was talking about phase rush as the kind of key component of this matchup. And he said the mistake that Licorice made is he went aggressive when phase rush was on cooldown. But we see Castle's actually playing Aftershock.
Yep, he is. And these are my two favorite supports in the league because they are number 1 and number 2 in the most important support stat. The amount of time that you spend with your jungler in the first 14 minutes of the game. Sometimes the reasons can be that because you just want to leave bottom lane, but we've seen a lot of the reasons be that you want to play with that jungler, especially on the Shopify side. Seos, ever since he got here, has played so much with Contractz, with his Nefiri games, like you said, 3 games of Leona, always using that Leona, to go play with their jungler, who was on a more carry style jungler in the Nefiri in those couple of opening games. But Contractz is such a playmaking jungler that it does help to have a support that also wants to go with you. And jungle support synergies are, I would say, as important as support and AD carry synergies in professional play. When you're going for vision, when you're coordinating for invades, when you're getting engages off for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I think of Contractz on Jarvan, I think of the G2 series back when he was on Energy. Has had some monster games on the pick, so we'll see if he can be able to be that big playmaker that the team wants him to be. As Abbedage gets 3 first, going to step forward for a little trade. Castle does have the push in this matchup up on top side, where unsurprisingly, the MF does have the push down here on bottom side. Rakan, I would say probably the most useless support in the game, Alistar at level 1. You do have to really kind of get those first couple levels in. So generally when you're playing with Alistar, you're going to get pushed in, and obviously MF is quite a strong early AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, he's a combo champion and can't have a combo at level 1. But now level 2, more options for him. Top side, though, is going to be where the junglers finish. So let's see if they actually fight over the crab. As you said early on, Castle on the Galio getting the push there. So it should be eXyu with the top crab and Contractz having to traverse back.
A little bit of knitting in the audience there. What is that like? Is that crochet or is that knitting? Oh, okay. Is that a scarf maybe? Maybe a nice little sweater?
What's the difference between crochet and knitting? That's definitely.
I actually don't know. I just know that Joanne does crochet and she doesn't do knitting. So now I know that.
And you know what that looks like, though, because you've seen, right? So was that the same? Or.
Like I said, I know that Joanne does crochet.
Okay.
And when she's doing it, it's crochet.
Yeah, and she's good at it.
She's great at it.
Okay. Well,
she made me a hat, which I lost, and then I felt really bad about it.
Oh no, your hat.
And then she made me another hat, and I haven't lost that one.
Okay, well.
So I'm 1 for 2.
I've never seen you wear it, so.
Well, it's not usually winter.
What does that mean?
It's not cold enough.
Yeah,
when I travel, hat's on my head. Strap that bad boy on, nice and toasty.
Keep that head warm.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, the bottom lane will be warmer after the swap and the Rumble being back down there. Of course, everybody's been swapping up to top sides. Couple of minutes even before the grub spawn at the early swaps. DSG were up there first with the Misfortune, with the Strut and the Cole as well for them. So they're going to be getting the slow push back out. They're actually speeding up that push to be able to crash it. And look for the extra pressure for themselves on top of it.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what they want to do with this early call here for ScaryJerry. Tier going to be stacking up there for Bvoy as they're just accepting the push in here. Pretty even game so far. It's a couple hundred gold, though, in the advantage of DSG as they have some slight farm leads kind of across the board. And eXyu as well has been able to grab a couple extra camps for himself. Xin just kind of power farming right now. Contractz is clearing up towards that top side, and we'll see if he can find an angle up there, but doesn't seem too likely.
Okay. Little quick trade there from the Aftershock Galio as he's pushing in once again, but as we said, those junglers are mirrored. No flashes blown early on, though, so it's not like super great target. I guess Seos here getting brush control first, though, is kind of the first step. And Huhi using his body to retain vision of the tri-brush to make sure Contractz isn't coming that direction. Get an early alert. You'd have to be a little worried since Alistar making those plays on Misfortune, even blowing your flash early on is very detrimental, with both of those carries being far less mobile on the side of DSG. And here we go. They did it. Played it safe on the top side long enough, use the push, start up the grubs. There's a controller in the back though, so Contractz will be already headed towards Dragon to trade neutrals.
Yep, going to be heading on down there. And you can see Castle was able to grab the honey fruit down on bot side, so he's very healthy and he knows he's weak-sided, so should be playing pretty safe down here for the next couple of minutes until eXyu gets back out on the map. eXyu now hitting level 6 as well. Got some nice little experience from the grubs, and then going to be heading down towards that red buff, which will be respawning relatively soon. But again, just trading throughout the early game. It is pretty passive. And I do think this is kind of one of those comps where mostly people are waiting for level 6s. So many of these champions are so ultimate based that I think we are going to start seeing a lot more action in these next couple of minutes.
And if we do see that action, I kind of agree. I want to see it around mid lane, at least from the side of Shopify. Burn the Ryze flash. Contractz get in there. He's very close to his ultimate. Palafox could do it himself first. Sometimes you'll see Azir's, post level 6 go trade and use their ulti sweeps to get the flash out of their opponent. And then boom, next time your ultimate is up, have your jungler come, and they've got the extra resources to be able to punish that flash. So try and get that burning early, because Azir is just such a good play-making mid-lane champion. That once you do have the level 6s coming in, you can try and set up rotations for cooldowns, burn those flashes.
Yep, it's going to be a pretty good game for MR here for Castle. Already has the early cowl. Of course, it is double AP soul laners. Ezreal even has some magic damage mixed in. And it's not like the Ezreal is really going to be just kind of focusing down and burning down Castle here with the Aftershock, as well as the damage reduction during your taunt. So it's going to be potentially really tough for Shopify to deal with Castle if he can kind of, get in the mix of things, really create a lot of damage, find yourself in the middle of a fight, see what he can get done.
Yep, definitely useful if you find yourself there. Raptors stolen away, small but meaningful win there, especially for junglers, because
Jungle Gap got the Raptors.
That one does tick over. Meanwhile, we're ending up with the roam from Seos to come play, with Fudge and Contractz, and leaving that Ezreal in the 1v1 matchup versus Castle, who, like you were saying, had invested in the early magic resist. I mean, the cowl still does give you nice regen, but the Ezreal is going to have a really nice time down there. And so I kind of like the little switch up that they've done, and Seos still playing on behind here as they finish the push.
Yep. And DSG just has a lot of vision up on this top side. I mean, they have 3 pink wards up there. They have a couple wards as well over the wall. Right before the Raptor Pit is one over the wall that was able to spot Contractz earlier when he was doing the Krugs. So a lot of safety gained by them on the top side. And Castle, tough to be able to actually pick on. So he's just playing pretty safe on bot side. So has just kind of resulted in this farming game. We'll see if Shopify wants to actually challenge on the next grub spawn that is going to be up here in a minute 15. I likely do not want to give over those 6 grubs. Especially because Dragon was a bit delayed, so it's not like there's a Dragon there to be able to spawn and trade for or anything like that. So we might start seeing a little bit of action actually around that next grub spawn.
Yeah, you have to. The one thing you really have to be careful about is Misfortune ultimate during that fight too, if you get locked up by the Rakan. So flashes do need to be used at that grub fight if we're going to fight it, to make sure you don't get hit with that combo.
Good thing we got 10 of them then.
Yep, everybody has their flashes ready. We haven't had our bloodthirsty game just quite yet.
The flashes are, it's like that safety. You got it in your back pockets. Like remember to wear your helmet when you're out for a bike ride,
Yep, everybody has helmets on.
Yeah, helmets on. Right, they're ready to go. And we'll see if they can make it happen here. 25 seconds now. Shopify taking some vision over on this top side. They did clear out those 2 pinks up towards the top of the river. Now going to clear out this last pink here.
That's a good ward up by the wall there, though. That doesn't get spotted, and will stick around.
As Huhi getting a little bit of chip damage there and on Seos, then just replaces the pink that did get cleared out. And DSG now going to move in and try to reclaim some vision here. Fudge does have his teleport, but Castle's actually just moving up right now. He had push, and they're actually going to look for Seos, but here comes the teleport. ScaryJerry immediately has to flash, but here's the follow. ScaryJerry is down incredibly low, and he's going to be first blooded by Contractz. That spicy hot pot going to be landing on Huhi. He's gone. In comes the Galio, but it's a little bit too little, and it's a little bit too late as Castle ults into an already lost fight on a target that's not even being attacked.
Zeus, the support goat of Brazil, him playing with Contractz, gets the kill on the enemy AD carry. He goes straight for ScaryJerry. He's like, yeah, nice ward. Scary walks way too close up into the middle of the river. So Zeus headbutts him closer to Contractz and then follows the flash, already knowing ScaryJerry only has one place to go. It is flashing over the wall, and Zeus immediately answering there. Shopify Rebellion, when they look their best, a lot of these players, it is no hesitation, immediately snap plays there, and the flank was just very, very good. Zeus on one side, Contractz on the other side in the river, and ScaryJerry headbutted right into the middle.
I mean, that was so well played by Zeus. Not only the headbutt to kind of alley-oop for Contractz, but then he instant Q flashed over the wall.
Instant, because you know there's only one place for him to go, so you're expecting it.
And he was right there.
Yeah, those types of plays, it's always so much better for you to think about what's your opponent's next move. And then preempt it, and that's why you look like the genius, right?
Exactly.
And
that's why I flash into the wall there. And then the Alistar looks like an absolute idiot.
Exactly. Yeah, that's nice. You
never let him know your next move, Kobe.
I gotta try that sometime, buddy.
You gotta keep him guessing.
Some good advice. The intentional face plant.
Exactly. That's what happens. They respect you too much, you know? I'm not gonna do what's good. I'm gonna do something stupid.
True. Well, they did try and do what's good, and so Shopify end up with the extra 2 kills and the extra money there, which will be so nice, and it has funded a fully completed Leandries, a fully completed Sundered Sky there for Contractz, and they actually look like they're going to rotate on over a little bit. Wait, Zeus is recalling
for Fudge. The flash forward there from Abbedage is mashed by Fudge, so not able to get the rune prison down.
Fudge does have ult.
And Fudge does have ult, as you say. Contractz is in the area, but it looks like they're not going to commit to it because Bvoy is pretty late to the play. He's just now walking out towards mid lane. Palafox had no TP. Of course, Castle does have teleport, so it would have been really hard for them to commit to it. I think they were just kind of fishing around, seeing, is anyone going to be out of position? Is there an angle here? And there was not, so DSG do grab a dragon here. And it is now 2 objectives apiece. Shopify 1 kill away from that feat of warfare, as one is 1 objective away from getting that one. So getting pretty close to the feats of strength, and we'll see if DSG can do anything to kind of slow them down, because fighting without flashes now on both Abbedage and ScaryJerry is going to be really hard for these next couple minutes.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's the doomsday scenario we were setting up from Champion Select. So at least ScaryJerry has the Bloodthirster.
It's like some knee pads, you know?
Okay, so no helmets, but knee pads.
Got the knee pads.
It's not a lot of safety.
No, you might have brain damage, but your knees are not going to be scraped. So it's all good.
Is it? Okay. Let's see if those knee pads will keep ScaryJerry safe, because Misfortune Power Spike is real to have your Bloodthirster done, at least. I mean, that was the reason that Bvoy had recalled earlier. It was Trinity Force Power Spike for Ezreal, so even though he was not going to be there for the team fight, you know, getting that Trinity Force is so huge. It's kind of similar for Misfortune in mid lane, because your sustain is just so amazing. You can push the wave and then use your strut to run over to the other objectives or the other side lanes there. Once you get this item, you can slide around the rift on your knee pads.
There you go.
Okay, you just have to be careful not to hit your noggin.
Yep. And has that flash back up here shortly, so he'll be ready to go. Oh, yeah, I mean, it is so nice once you have the BT, because you just get full mid lane control, right? Like, no one can push you out. You can take any trade. So the enemy AD carry basically just has to sit back and not trade with you at all, since you have all that lifesteal to shrug it off. It means you get full push, and like you talked about, then you have the strut to move first to these side lanes to be able to look for those plays. And DSG was trying to do that on Fudge, who was then just going to drop the equalizer to stay safe down here on this bottom lane. But it does mean that this time around, no equalizer, no way for Shopify to walk up to this tower, and it is going to be first turret taken here for DSG, so they're going to be able to claim that, and now means they are just the 1 objective away from feats of strength for themselves. And DSG, you know, going very even here with Shopify. That slight gold lead, not going to mean too much, but I do think Shopify have the kind of easier to eXyu comp, and DSG is going to have to find a way to really get out to those side lanes, which we've seen a lot of teams, especially the lower level teams, really struggle to do. You know, if they can get Ryze in that side lane and getting push and be able to make these plays with Galio ult and, you know, find dives and open up the map in that way, it's really great, but it's hard to pull off.
Well, thank goodness that ScaryJerry has found his flash helmet and has come back.
He's safe.
Safe again. Okay, it is going to be the swap too. The Ryze that they do have to play a little bit safer around, because the cooldown is still coming back. coming up to help out. That was very close as the smite timing, Q timing are kind of close, but steals away the second blue buff, or picks up the second blue buff for himself to go collect the rest here and play quite safe. Shopify, though, they really want to make a play on him. Again, you have to keep track of that timer. It's coming up pretty shortly here for the flash for Abbedage, and look at that. He is staying in their jungle with wards around him. Not going to expose himself to any sort of early play from the Alistar Jarvan bruiser combo here. And they're looking for it again.
Yeah, they're going to be looking here onto eXyu, who's a little bit too far forward. Is going to have to pop the Crescent Guard immediately, but in goes Huhi. Great engage, but where's the follow-up? Not there just yet, but Palafox going to get CC'd up and burst down. Zeo's going to have to flash over the wall, as does Contractz. Great split-second engage there from Huhi.
This time around, it's DSG who do not hesitate. eXyu pops the ultimate. Huhi comes in over the top with the flash on Rakan, and they take down Palafox. Even though he got his Azir ult off, dies right as it's happening. So he goes down, and the rest of Shopify have to evacuate. Let's take a look at the setup, because it is lightning quick here. eXyu in the middle, and Huhi, he does use his dash over to the side right there. Then eXyu's like, okay, we fight this. He ults, chases them into the pit, and Huhi immediately follows so they can get it. Palafox right in the middle as the Misfortune ultimate is going over the top. It's just beautiful for them. Complete deletion.
Yep, it's tough. Find yourself in the middle of a team fight like that. Yeah. Not a lot you can do on the Azir.
Yeah, Palafox, you gotta get out of there.
Yeah, I mean Castle as well. He instant flash over the wall, gets just a really short taunt down on Palafox. They lock him down, and they set up ScaryJerry to knock him down with the ulti. And now Contractz looking for Huhi there, but he is able to dodge the flag and drag and get out to safety. Slight lead is still maintained here for DSG, but they have the feats of strength now. So they're getting those upgraded boots in, which is going to feel pretty nice. And ScaryJerry just going to be maintaining his position here in the mid lane. We'll see if Fudge and Contractz can kind of find a good combo. Because again, I talked about this in draft, but I just feel like whoever gets the first engage has such an advantage because you're so far on the back foot since both teams have really explosive engages. You know, if Contractz able to find that big combo and you get the equalizer down, it could be trouble. But the same is true as we saw from Huhi there. As Zeus, they're trying to force out his ult, won't quite be able to do it, but he is chunked down low, and now the Herald going to be summoned up.
All right, Herald will get charge off. I mean, it's interesting they're doing this trailing play on top side. I guess they were thinking there was going to be some, sort of offensive play up there, but it's Dragon taken for DSG. They're not trying anything on top side, so kind of straggler play there where Fudge was hovering behind Palafox. Doesn't really find anything for Shopify, and they're just going to lose out on that Dragon. The side tower starting to open up, though, on opposite sides for some looks at the split push.
Yeah, Shopify seeming like they just weren't super comfortable to actually take that fight. Maybe missing a couple of these key flashes on their engagers. They don't have it on Contractz or Zeus, so maybe feeling like it could be tough to actually find the fight. Also, something we haven't talked about, Huhi's actually playing Spellbook Rakan. So this is pretty interesting. So he's now swapped over to Ghost. So he's on Ghost heal right now while he doesn't have that flash. Haven't seen Spellbook tech in a long time in Pro. It used to be popular, way back, but this is pretty cool if you feel like it is going to be kind of an inactive early lane and you're saying, hey, I don't actually need Guardian. It's not going to be that impactful. Maybe being able to swap over to Exhaust and Ignite and Ghost and things later on could give that additional value. So we'll kind of have to track how it does for him in these fights.
Yeah, that will be interesting with the Ghost. Maybe he gets some cool engage off soon. Huhi has had a successful record on Rakan throughout his very long career. See if he can continue it today with some new little tweaks to it.
I feel like no one plays Spellbook at all anymore. I was trying to think about when's the last time I even saw Spellbook in my games.
You know what the last one I saw was a Fiddlesticks using it, and they were doing the.
Were they cooking?
They were not cooking. He wanted to do the teleport thing. It's just not good anymore.
Yeah.
But DSG back onto the map, and they are going in tandem here to get the deeper vision to set up for these top objectives. Castle leading the way with the support jungle duo, but. Yeah, we've definitely seen it in this game. The stat we showed at the very beginning of it with these two supports having the highest jungle proximities for themselves. And now they're going to do a wraparound here. They're actually behind Shopify.
ScaryJerry's kind of split from the rest of the team. We'll see if they can find any sort of engage. Huhi is looking. But meanwhile, they're dropping multiple waves bot, and they're giving up the free tier 1. They're trading that for the tier 1 top. But both teams are just kind of dropping one side of the map and playing only through 2 lanes. Playing through mid and bot here for Shopify, as well as mid and top for DSG. So it is that exchange of gold. But I tend to favor Ryze getting gold probably more than the Rumble in this situation. As long as the Ryze can continue putting that pressure on the side lanes, it is going to be really tough to deal with him. But if he is just grouping for fights, then I think it's a lot harder for him to actually find that value in these fights without getting CC'd up. As Seos goes forward, it does take a pretty big chunk of damage, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, they just kind of agree to trade the opposite side lanes. What it really does is, yeah, open up the map for more room to play with here, since teleports are ready. Galio ultimate is ready. They're teleporting behind into that deep vision they placed earlier.
eXyu's going in. He's going to pop the Crescent Guard already. Castle is coming, and in comes the Galio ultimate, and Jarvan is gone. Contractz is just out of there. Seos trying to run on the other side. It's Abbedage in trouble. It's going to be Fudge and Palafox taking him down. They get the shutdown. Seos going back in. ScaryJerry's got a flash, but here's the flash follow from Fudge. Fudge is going to cook him up. It's ScaryJerry for dinner. His Castle's trying to run, but he's got no real way out. Flash is going to try to take the blast cone. Does he have any way out of here? Looks like he might have just created enough space, but they're going to lose the Otacon. They're going to lose the 3 kills, and DSG are going to lose control of this game.
DSG, they go for the teleport play into the back, but let's look at how it started and how they got separated. So starts out early here. We're going to see the Galio teleport in. He's just going to use that to get closer, to get in range for his ulti, though. And Contractz, as you say, he does get deleted in there, but now there is no Misfortune ultimate or Galio ultimate. And then here, the Realm Warp for Abbedage, he goes in while the rest of the team was going the other way. That Realm Warp into the hands of Palafox and Fudge completely changes the whole story. That Realm Warp was into the fountain. Good as into the fountain.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just must have lost track of who else was over there. Maybe he thought it was just one member over there, but he realm warps in into a 1v2, dies, loses his flash, and you see Ludwig going to be pretty happy about that one. Huhi in trouble, back to live, is going to be pushed back here. They do have the Otacon GAs here and now have opened up an over 2,000 gold lead. Fudge getting very strong as he's now done his Riftmaker plus that Leandry, 7 stacks on that Dark Seal, and ScaryJerry just constantly getting focused. This Contractz is on the side. We'll see if they can find a window here to look for this dive. Fudge does have his equalizer back up, so if DSG mispositions with these Otacon GAs, you know they're going to send it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's no flash on Ryze, no flash on Misfortune. Contractz has his to go for the engage. Like, that is a full send with revives. Fudge currently down pushing on the bottom side, so at the very least, Shopify will also get the bottom lane pushing, but they very likely will be calling for a more aggressive play. Minion wave does get pushed up by Fudge, and Dragon spawning, so I guess they are going to call it at that.
Okay, well, not going to be able to be challenged here at this Dragon, so they will be able to secure this. Interesting little tidbit. Last person to play Spellbook Rakan was actually also Huhi. It was back in 2023, so has been a couple years since that has popped up, and it was also him with that tech. He has swapped out the Ghost now for Exhaust, so he's going to be on Exhaust heal for now, and we can see if he can find some good value from that. ScaryJerry just trying to clear out the way, but there is no flash for him, and he is in so much trouble. In comes the Galio ultimate, but will it even get anything done here? They're just tanking up the tower. Bvoy is going to withdraw. Everyone is kind of withdrawing right now here. Abbedage is cleaning house, and yeah, you have the GAs, but you're still giving over gold. DSG are going to realm warp in and look for even more. They get all 5 of the GAs for only their 80 carry. That is not even close to worth it.
No, even with the old Otacon before it got nerfed, that probably wouldn't be worth it. This is so deep into the waiting arms of DSG. Even with them getting their kill target, as you say, chasing them through, yeah, they're just getting melted on that side. So it's 200 gold for each person that has to withdraw with the Otacon buff. Plus you get the lasting buff of the extra flower value. So it's like, that was 1,000 gold with 5 of the withdrawals, plus a little bit of extra stats after, in exchange for 1 kill on 1 misfortune.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even finish off the tower before they did. That tower was fully heated up and got like, I don't know, 6, 8 shots of fully heated tower. That is That is more than an extra member at this point in the game in a team fight, and they got absolutely cooked by that. That was a huge overforce, absolutely, from Shopify. Gonna wish they had that one back, but unfortunately, won't be able to. They are still, though, 2,000 in the lead.
Otacon is a hell of a drug.
It is, man.
Do some crazy stuff on that buff.
That's why I like the flowers Otacon much more. My team doesn't do that. When they get the flowers one, they just peacefully pick the flowers, as they are going to be able to drop the equalizer here, push back eXyu, finally claim that tier 1 tower, and just move forward in the game with that slight lead.
All right. The dust has settled around mid lane, and they finally took care of the objective. Okay. So after the craziness of the Otacon bender that they went on, they calmed down a little bit. They still have their gold lead, you know.
Dust is settled. They lost their wallet, but you know.
Yep, everything's fine. Yep. They still got their 2K gold lead, split on Dragon, split on Grugs. They do still also have that like mini lasting buff that is very, very or actually, no, they don't even have that one because it was the other kind. Wait a second, the teleport flank onto Palafox, it's very long, and he has flash.
And ulti. Seos is around here as well. Seos just going to combo onto Abbedage, and now they're going to counter TP in. In comes the Rumble. Seos just buying time with his ultimate. Looks like there's not going to be much of a fight. They're just going to accept the trade of TPs and take the ulti from Seos.
Okay, walk back out. Still have vision of them, and isn't going to have a spawn soon for anything to actually happen. So just a little bit of side lane possibilities down. I'd say it's probably a bit more worth for, or more useful for Ryze, since Ryze such a good split pusher. But I mean, the Rumble is so fed that it also is pretty big for him.
Yeah, he's on 3 full items already. He already has that Bloodletter's Curse in, so has the triple mask items coming in already. Huhi going to be getting pushed back. Did use that exhaust in last fight, so he's back to his original summoners right now. And we're just kind of waiting for this next fight. Looks like it's likely to be around this dragon, as both teams would love to move towards Soul Point. And with how explosive the engages are, Mountain Soul is definitely high value.
Yeah, definitely is. That renewing shield, very big for a lot of these positionings preemptively towards the 5-on-5, since we're going to get a lot of 5-on-5s in this game, it seems. How close are we going to be to that death cap, though? Because a minute out on Dragon.
Well, Ryze just grabbed his, so
there we go.
He's got one. We'll see. How much gold does Palafox have? So he needs about 800 more gold to be able to actually complete his. So I don't know that he's going to get it. I don't think he will. He just came out of base, so not going to have that, and that is going to be a pretty important difference for Abbedage. Bloodthirster is done for Bvoy now, though, so he can shrug off all of the poke and is doing a lot better in that kind of mid-lane AD carry duel right now for Prio. You can see Fudge, not quite 16, very close to it, though. Would actually probably like to see him get in range of these minions, because a wave or two, he'd actually be 16. You definitely want to get that before the fight. You can see he's at like 95% of the way. So if he actually just walks up to some of these minions, he will have it. But DSG posturing here, just trying to clear out vision around the Baron right now. Are going to be able to grab the scuttle and clear out the pink in the back of the pit.
I think Abbedage should be pushing the wave right now. I mean, he's got Realm Warp. Yeah. Even though you don't have Teleport, you have your Realm Warp. You have Galio ult and Realm Warp. So it should always be Galio and Ryze pushing these waves, because they can join the fight so quickly.
And this is something that we've seen, you know, from a lot of our teams that are more of those bottom teams, is that they struggle to utilize the split push advantage when they build it, because there's always, I think, that nervousness of, well, what if my team gets caught, right? And things often aren't working for you on stage, so you don't have that kind of built-in confidence that your team will stay safe as a 4-man squad, which causes you to overgroup, which, quite frankly, takes away a lot of the value from the pick, right? So definitely agree, want to see Abbedage and Castle just kind of committing to that side lane, being able to find those picks, but they're going to be going in here hard onto Bvoy. Bvoy shifts out, flashes out, and now it's Seos potentially that's in trouble as he's in the middle of the team. Seos, though, flashing out as well. They're going to try to re-engage here onto Contractz. Good equalizer comes down from Fudge, and it's cooking up eXyu. eXyu is ignited. He is burning down, but he will barely survive. The problem being the Dragon is now live, and Shopify can just go right to it.
Interesting. What's going to be more worth? Because the Ezreal has no barrier or flash, and both Abbedage and eXyu using their flashes in this one with the ultis down. It looks like it's going to be burn down free Dragon for Shopify.
Yeah, this is nice. You just have two people doing that while Contractz and Palafox staying up here, making sure there's no sort of a cheesy Baron play that they are looking for on the other side. So they are able to eke out this advantage. And it's like you say, can you find a punish? Yes, you lost flashes on two people, but Bvoy, if you can catch him with a flash engage from Castle or Huhi, maybe that can really be what turns the game for DSG.
Yeah, they definitely need to actually find a way back there. They've had some pressure on him, but haven't been able to take him down. And the death cap roar, at least now, has been evened up. Palafox has caught up in that one at the very least. And everybody with pretty similar inventories here, evening out. I would assume Fudge still has a decent amount of money to spend, though. And since he also had the Dark Seal early on and stacked it up, he still has a bunch of this advantage, this Rumble that got so much out of the river fight, flashing forward and getting the extra kills there. I mean, we've seen these Rumble ults like that. Those things have absolutely melted.
Yeah. It is really tough, and I mean, he also was the beneficiary when they were doing this kind of tier 1 trade on either side. He was the one down in bot lane collecting that gold, collecting those minions, and as a result, Castle obviously a fair bit behind, in that 1v1, does at least complete his Seekers, so it doesn't have the Zhonya's, but Seekers obviously very valuable for that one fight. So we'll see if he can kind of find that big one fight impact here to be able to try to turn things around. ScaryJerry now also has his IE, which is, of course, a really big purchase there for the MF. Now has that kind of trifecta of heavy AD items that really make the ultimate incredibly powerful. As Palafox and Contractz just trying to maintain vision on that side. eXyu going forward here, trying to get some damage down on Seos, but it's eXyu that's in so much trouble, and eXyu just dead to start the fight. Huhi flashes in, does get the double charm. The bullet time is connecting on nothing, though, as Abbedage is fighting Fudge on the side. Palafox goes forward, in goes Castle with the taunt. ScaryJerry has to flash from the engage coming in from Seos, and it's ScaryJerry on the run as Bvoy and the rest of them are chasing him down. ScaryJerry, late barrier, doesn't matter, barely survives, but the fight is not even close. eXyu never even used the ulti, goes down without it. Shopify crushed the fight and will take the Baron.
Look how much damage he takes here right off the bat. So it's going to be him walking up, going for the W, but immediately as he charges in, knock up. Ezreal is hitting him. Azir is hitting him. Doesn't ult as he's running back, so Contractz punishes him. Goes in with the Jarvan to lock up and make sure they can get that kill. And remember, his flash plus Abbedage's flash were two of the ones that they used to try and get Bvoy's in the previous fight. So no ult, and flash was not there from the last one. He just got completely melted. Then Shopify can just run over the team fight, move forward. So I feel like the people that had their flashes blown in the last fight played very differently. Bvoy on Ezreal has Arcane Shift, but he also was at the back and also was not exposing himself. So that was very risky to charge in there, but as you also correctly pointed out, no ult going down and the damage coming through so quickly. Now Shopify, with their Baron buff, have everything they need to push in. Huge gold lead has ballooned off of that, so now you just have a nice calm siege from Shopify, and they can slowly take out secondary tower here on bottom side. DSG, not a lot you can do in the face of this. Just try and play a little bit more defensively near your inhibitor towers. But even then, the Baron buff gonna do some lasting work here.
Yeah, I mean, we really got to see ScaryJerry and Huhi on the same page. I mean, Huhi flashed in, with that ulti, and ScaryJerry just wasn't quite in range of those key targets with his ulti. When you're playing MF, you got to do it, but they're going to go for the Realm Warp, and they are looking for Fudge. Fudge does have to use his flash, but that is all he will have to use, and now they got to rush down towards that bot lane to try to defend this wave as it is coming in. Nicely timed play, though, from DSG, as there are those desynced waves, so they kind of committed to bot, clear that out, go towards mid, force a flash, but now this wave comes in, and it's going to mean the end of their first tier 3 tower falling down, and that mid wave will be arriving here pretty soon. We'll see if DSG are going to try to force an engage. Looks like they will just accept at least the one inhibitor loss. The question is, will you defend the mid lane tier 3? As DSG are moving over, but so are Shopify, and Palafox in a good position here alongside Bvoy, just kind of poking over the wall, making things difficult for DSG.
Very difficult. I mean, you've got bottom lane pushing by itself. Everybody's still with the Baron buff, sieging up here. So much poke coming down. The extra range advantage is Shopify's. Bvoy's got his flashback. Only Palafox now has to play safer. So you kind of like rotate your positioning of your carries. In the last fight, Palafox could play more aggressive, and Bvoy is a little bit more safe. Now this time, Palafox is hovering by the dead turret that he can raise up with his passive, and Bvoy is playing very aggressively, poking people out.
Look at where Huhi is. He is on a long, deep flank here. He does have have heal and ignite. It is going to be this dragon spawning here that DSG definitely do not want to give over, but they feel like they need to find some sort of a pick to be able to have a chance to stop it. They're not really in position. It's already spawned. This will be Mountain Soul going to Shopify unless they can instantly force a fight here. eXyu trying to walk in is going to get comboed, and eXyu is incredibly low. This time pops the Crescent Guard. Huhi going in on the side is going to be able to land the charm, but the Equalizer not getting much done. It only connects onto Castle, so maybe there's a chance for a re-engage here. eXyu, though, has lost a lot of health. Huhi did use his ult as well as the heal, and there's a great engage over onto Abbedage. Abbedage not going to get followed up on, though, because ScaryJerry was laying down covering fire, and it's now Contractz in trouble, but he's able to get over the wall, and Palafox goes in, gets a kill. In comes Bvoy. On the side, Castle is going to get knocked down as Fudge goes godlike. Shopify, it's a closer one than last time, but they still take the fight. They still take the dragon. They're TPing down towards bot lane as Bvoy's finishing off ScaryJerry. He's going to get that kill. They're going to grab the Mountain Soul, and they are going to try to push for the win here. It's eXyu and Huhi alive, but they have got nothing to say about this. Shopify will claim the game and their second victory of the split.
Kill this motherfucker!
Whoa!
You guys ruined my 100% KP, bro. Sorry. Wow, that's fucked up.
Can we get a Ludwig check-in instead?
I love that, man. The emotion, they're pumped up, they take him down. Great to hear the players there as the Nexus is falling. You gotta love it, man.
That's the passion of the game.
High. It's the passion. Take
of
him
the
down.
game. And don't ruin my perfect KDA.
Yeah, that is important.
Don't do that.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Who did that? Was that Bvoy getting the kill over on ScaryJerry?
What?
Not sure. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it was Contractz saying don't ruin my perfect KDA.
No, but who ruined it?
Oh, who
ruined it by getting the kill away from him? Shopify are able to get the win. Second win here of the split for them. Taking down DSG. Going to be feeling good about that one. Fudge with a monster game, honestly, on the Rumble. He was really a problem. You know, Castle brought out that counter pick. Didn't work out for him, but we're going to be joining Emily and Seos on stage for an interview.
Thank you very much, Azael. I am here with Shopify Rebellion Victoria support Seos after an amazing Alistar game. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Looking at a lot of these team fights, it seemed like everyone wanted to jump onto you. You just kind of survived and made plays with your team. How has it been integrating yourself onto the Shopify team? And talk to me about your role in this game.
I think in the start was a bit hard, right? Because a new team, I never play with any of the members, so I need to like adapt of how they see the game. But right now I'm really happy. I think we are understanding each other really good inside the game. And about this game, was a really basic front game. They have Ryze, MF, they want to kill first target, and we have Azir Ezreal, we want to do the same. But Alistar is a bit strong because he has his ulti, so he's really hard to die. So.
Around about 10 minutes, you had an amazing grab onto ScaryJerry to kill the MF. Talk me through that, and like, are you just going and calling for that play and the rest of the team is following you?
Yeah, I think at that time we are seeing someone on top wave, and I recognized MF was kind of deep on the river. He didn't have like anywhere to go. So I said to my team, let's just go on MF because he's too deep and everyone follow.
And then I actually watched you in CBLOL a lot. And I know you had this reputation for being a really, really intelligent player. Like you said, coming onto a new team, it might have been kind of difficult. How are you feeling now, having played a lot more games with them?
I think right now I'm really comfortable with everyone. I'm the type of guy that needs some time, you know, to like be friends with everyone, and for me it's really important to like talk not only about league, about like life and stuff. So I think right now I'm really happy with everyone on the team and I'm feeling comfortable.
Nice, I'm so happy for you. Well, welcome to the LTA North, and we will toss it to Kangas and Raz to close out the day.